With more people in Vegas living in apartments, we know that growing anything green seems like a challenge. But it is possible. We asked our master gardener friend, Cheyenne Kyle, from the Obodo Collective, how to create a garden right on your patio. She tells me the best foods to grow in small spaces, how to manage that transition from spring into the summer heat, and how we can repurpose everyday items to plant our garden. We're talking old shoes and even growing a watermelon in a bag. It's Wednesday, April 12th. I'm Vogue Robinson, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Good morning, Cheyenne Kyle. Welcome back to CityCast Las Vegas.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are so much fun. I'm glad to be back.
So look, lots of people have rocks in their yards instead of soil, and a lot of people are living in apartments now in Vegas. So what's the first step to creating a spring garden for your patio? So we talking small.
Small containers, that kind of stuff. I think that a good start would be to identify the space that you want to use and figure out what type of light you have. Because the type of light that you have is going to determine what kind of stuff you can grow. Do you have sunlight casting over your area during the early day? And then around 2, 3, you don't get any sunlight there, which would generally indicate that you're getting early morning sun, which is more intense than afternoon sun or late afternoon sun, or just all these other variables that would also determine the amount of sunlight, like the number of hours of sunlight that you get. So first things first, right? You want to make sure that you know what kind of sunlight that you're getting in the area that you are intending to grow in. And that'll help you determine what type of things you would have the best luck growing.
Now, containers wise, are we red solo cupping? What do you recommend for our containers?
Whatever is affordable. Whatever I like. Personally, I like to reuse, repurpose. So I've definitely had 2-gallon water bottle planters. Anything that you can put drainage holes in, you can successfully grow in, honestly. There are some materials, plastic I feel like is always a little bit better because you have that water retention. If you're doing something like an old dresser drawer, again, if you can drill some holes into it, yeah, all that stuff, tires, old boots. Now, when you're doing things like that, you want to maybe put some sort of sealant on it just so that you're not getting too much water to absorb into the actual fabric. So I would stick to plastic. Plastic is easy. Dollar store, hit up the dollar stores. Dollar stores got containers for days, and they be $1.
I love the idea of a shoe being on the patio, like a bunch of old shoes.
With some pretty flowers growing.
Just hanging out inside the patio.
Yeah. You could do a shoe for every family member in the house. That'd be cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the shoes you grew out of. That'd be cute. What kind of sealant would they use?
It would depend on whatever medium they're working with. Again, if it depends on what you're growing and how you're growing, if you're going to grow things that you intend to eat, then you want to be very mindful of any sort of chemicals that you're going to use. And I honestly, if you're growing something that you want to eat, I would just suggest plastic.
Got you. Okay, so let's talk about things we can eat, right? So what are the edible things that we can plant in our patio garden?
You can plant whatever your heart desires. I always tell people, start off with the things that you eat. That's really going to ensure that you take care of it because you want to see it through.
You be saying that, but I'm talking about small though. Like I'm not about to put some watermelons on my patio.
No, maybe not watermelons, you know what I mean? But people can definitely grow bell peppers. You can grow onions. You can grow tomatoes, things of that nature. It doesn't have to be a huge crop. Depending on the size of your patio, you probably could grow some sugar baby watermelons. You can grow watermelons in bags. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, they have like those garden bags. You can grow you with some little watermelons. But the larger determinant in that is what type of light you have. So things that are going to be fruit bearing generally require more light, longer, and a higher intensity of light. So you want to have something that's probably east facing, where we're going to be getting about 6 hours of some really, really good light. That's where you want to put those things if you're going to grow like larger bell peppers or bulbs. So onions or anything like potatoes, carrots, anything that's a fruit, you're going to need more light. So generally for most people in their patio gardens, leafy greens, always, you can't go wrong with that. Herbs. Also, if you're concerned and you have not had the best track records with keeping your plant babies alive, I would do some herbs for sure. And then those are nice, cute, movable. You go out to your patio, you snip a few. If you have enough space, you could also do like some lemon tree in a container or some other kind of dwarf tree you could put in your patio. Yeah.
The last time I visited you at the Obodo farm, you were really digging into the difference between the dirt and the rocks that we have in the valley versus creating soil. So what kind of soil should people be creating for their patio garden?
Luckily enough, nurseries, big box stores, they have made it easy. And generally you want to do something that it'll say container mix. Container mix, those are going to make sure that they have ingredients that are going to keep your soil from compacting and getting really, really dense inside of the container, which is going to stop the roots from being able to grow, pull water, and pull oxygen. You want to make sure that you don't pick up starter mix. Do not be confused by that. That's not going to have any nutrient content for your plants. When you're first starting off and you're first getting your container garden going, you don't have to really worry about fertilizer. So it's not necessary for you to have something that also contains fertilizer as well. I would look for container mixes that do have organic materials, kelp, things, something organic in it. That way you don't actually have to worry about when to fertilize your plants.
Got you. That is so helpful. I got stuff dying right now. So we're going to help my stuff out. Every year, also, my father-in-law, he plants flowers every spring. But I'm wondering, are there flowers that we should be planting in the springtime? Like what's good for the bees and what's good for kind of bringing the pollinators to our plants and our patio garden?
Awesome. Oh my goodness. I love that. I've recently gotten into flowers myself. It's been so much fun. And I have a whole bunch of plants on my patio now that are like not fruit plants, not edibles, which is very, very, this is my first time doing it. So I'm learning along with you guys. And I would say like, goodness, daisies. The daisies I've been seeing have been really, really good. I have some planted at the farm now. Petunias, they're pretty hardy. They do very well. When you go and you look for flowers, you want to look for things that specifically say that they do well in zone 9. Zone 9, that's where we're at. That's referring to the hardiness zone. That is going to take into account the climate of the region that you're in. So depending on where you are in the city, you're going to have a different microclimate. But a good rule of thumb is to look at the hardiness zone and make sure that flower is, because a lot of times for nurseries and big box stores, they're importing them from other places. So some of the things will not work here. They're just not going to work as well. And then we're setting ourselves up for failure. Then people get sad and they say, oh, I kill everything. No, it's not. You just weren't growing the right plants. Also,
like they ain't from here.
They ain't from here.
They don't have the skin for that.
They don't understand. They gotta acclimate. So also, I'm a huge, huge fan of the resources available through the Cooperative Extension, Master Gardeners. I highly, highly, highly suggest going onto the publications page. You can type in flowers and just search flowers. You can see roses do very well here too. And then also you can call the Master Gardener helpline. They are super helpful. I love them. They are a great resource.
I can literally be like, boop, 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 boop.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. You could be like, I've never grown anything before and I want to put some really pretty flowers out there for the pollinators. They do have seeds available generally, and you can request that. And there'll be native seeds that are going to bring in our native pollinators. So they're just a wonderful resource. And I highly, highly suggest that.
Okay, so we've started our patio garden.
Yes.
Yay, it's growing. We got some little seedlings popping up.
Yes.
But then the gnats and the
Okay.
bugs and the plant predators come for whatever you've been planting. How do we
Yes.
protect our little patio garden?
So the best way to protect your patio garden is to make sure that you are growing things that are going to help bring in that pest natural predator. You can go to Star Nursery, you can go buy ladybugs, you can buy praying mantises. Those are things that are going to help to eat the bugs that are because we have pest and then we have insects. And pests are the ones that are the naggy, the ones we don't want, the gnats, the ants, those things that are going to kind
I
of,
love ants.
I mean, but do
But
they love
that's a
you?
side
But do they
that's a
love you
side
though?
story.
Right?
They don't. They
And
don't
if
care.
you get ants, you're on your way to getting aphids. So you really don't want ants. If you see an ant trail, what you can do, you can go ahead and put some cinnamon around it and it'll help repel them. I like using natural repellents, Castile soaps, certain essential oils, peppermint oils, and then the sticky tapes. So
Hmm.
order those from online because for some reason they're kind of difficult, or you can make them at home. I am a fan of a DIY. If you have some yellow construction paper, get you some double-sided tape, make it do what it do. There, for
Nice.
whatever reason, a lot of those flying insects are attracted to the color yellow. So put them next to the beds, but not too close. And also, I do have to disclose that whatever flies is going to stick to that. So our good insects too, our happy
Mm.
insects too. So we do have to keep that in mind. If you're going to use any sort of insecticides or anything, the insecticide can't tell the difference between a beneficial insect and a pest.
What other tips or techniques should patio gardeners consider?
Oh my goodness, start small. You can grow something for every season out here. So maybe start off with 2 or 3 plants that are going to do well in the spring here. Transition out to moving into your cool season crops. Maybe you add another plant, you know, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just continue to grow and figure out what works, what doesn't work, what you like eating, what's easy to maintain. Because some of the plants do, if it gets sick or it does get an infestation, the work to try to mitigate that is different for different plants. And some plants you
Mm.
have to know, like there are plants that you got to baby.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you preserve your patio garden once 100-degree summer hits? You just pray for it. Look at your face. You just pray for it, huh?
No, because if you're the person that is getting early sun to afternoon sun, you're getting 6 hours of light from when the light first rises over here because that light is way more intense. My apartment is where we at? My apartment is west facing. So I get late afternoon sun. I don't get sun on my side of the building until about 3, 4. And that sunlight is way less intense than noon sun, right?
Hmm.
So, and then also, I'm only getting about 4 hours of sunlight. So for me, I really am restricted in only growing my leafy greens because, like, a bell pepper is not going to have enough sunlight to fully form. So if you have your patio garden is facing a direction where you're going to be getting that super intense light, you could probably grow. If you have the space, I would do like an eggplant. Eggplant loves 100-degree weather. If you like eggplant, but you want to do a smaller variety like the Japanese kind, and you want to make sure on the label, if you're buying a transplant, you want to make sure you read the label and everything and make sure that we can maintain the environment. But eggplant does well out here if you have enough. Again, if you have enough space, you can grow a nice little okra shrub, things like that that really do love the heat, that love that 100+ degree weather. If you have the space, I would also consider some sugar baby watermelons, which are going to be like some small watermelons.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, let's think about like the size of a 5 pound bag of potatoes,
Okay.
like that kind of sack on your patio. Can you fit that on your patio? Then you can probably, they have those bags that you can go ahead and grow some watermelons in if you are getting that early intense sunlight. That is something that you can do, or you can skip the summer. You could put something in there like a bean or something that'll help to enrich that container soil because we want to be intentional, even with
Hmm.
us. Yeah, like we can be really intentional about building soil. Like, yeah, it's container soil and we bought it, but that doesn't mean like that we don't pour into it, that we don't love on it, that we don't, try to make it as healthy as we can by adding organic matter to it.
Yeah. So would you say, okay, for my patio plants, once summer hits, I need to be timing how much sun they're getting and then just bringing them inside or giving them some shade after like 6 hours? Would that be the ball game, the best way to protect them?
I mean, it could be, but I don't feel like it is super realistic, honestly. In order for people to do things,
I could do that.
But could you?
You don't believe in me.
I can. I totally do, but I want it to be easy for you. So let's do plants that we don't have to keep taking in and out of the house. Let's just make it easy for us. Some beans, some pole beans, some bush beans, things like that are going to create a nice, like, thick shrub.
So plant a canopy.
Yeah, something that makes a nice canopy.
Got you.
That'll give you a little bit of shade too. So you can grow something on the other side, because these containers, the great thing about containers is you can move them however you need to. But they do get heavy. So I don't want people to have to always, worry about, I just worked a 6-hour shift. Now I got to put my plants in the house and take them out in the morning. Like, don't nobody got time for all of that.
Facts.
We can make it easy for ourselves. And then that way we maintain longevity. That's why we like to start small. We like to do it, in a way that is going to be easy for us to maintain and slowly add on to our gardening lifestyle.
So Cheyenne, what are the three benefits to starting a spring garden?
Oh my goodness. The best thing about growing food at your house, my absolute favorite, flavor. It is incomparable. You going outside, even if you only grow lettuce, honey, I promise you will not only will you eat more of it, which has health benefits because it's right there, but the flavors that you're going to be able to get because you don't have to wait there's no time from harvest to plate.
So I'm hearing really is health benefits, it's convenience, and it's the actual, I also feel like the pride of
yes.
I grew this.
Exactly.
But then the flavor also though, because whatever's been in the soil, Loki, what your plants have been eating. So
right.
Flavor, convenience.
And your health. There's so many benefits. You get to learn, you know what I mean? One thing I could tell you guys, I may be a certified master gardener, but nature is extremely humbling. You feel me? It is a constant learning curve, and it makes it fun. It makes it really, really exciting to be like, oh, okay, well, look at this sprout. And I love seeing new leaves grow, and I love seeing new things blossom and new things bloom, and the excitement that we get from that. I feel like it's something that's really just internal. It's something that we all feel. And it does go hand in hand with that pride of just being like, look at what I grew. But you got to love on something, and then you got to watch this thing love back on you. It's really cool.
Cheyenne Kyle, thank you so much for being on CityCast Las Vegas again. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me, Vogue. We always have so much fun. So thank you.
And now for some news. What's going on, David?
Well, Vogue, under a wide-ranging education bill before the legislature proposed by Senator Dina Neal, cities would be barred from operating or even funding charter schools. The city of Las Vegas sponsors one right now. Substitute teachers would also have to have at least an associate's degree, and CCSD couldn't futz around with the public's right to comment at meetings. Also, you could more than double your stash to as much as 2.5 ounces of recreational weed. That's a lot of weed. Under Senate Bill 277, which is being debated in Carson City. As sponsor Senator Dallas Harris noted, there's no assumption that if I'm buying a 48-pack of beer, I must be doing something illicit with it afterwards. But then again, Senator Harris, if you're sneaking all that beer onto the Senate floor,
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Send us a picture of your spring garden and tell a friend that you got some tips from our show. You can also help us out by rating the show, leaving us a review, and subscribing to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care. What is this? Who grew
Yes,
this?
yes, exactly. And then
I
there's
need the
that.
good endive for my garden.
From my garden, darling. From out front in the garden, my love. Yes.